On this week's show, how to get started in the world of property when you have very little money.
And in the news, UK house prices jumped almost £5,000 in August.
Welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Enjoy this week's show and don't forget to share it with all your friends.
Hey, I'm Russell Leeds.
Hey, I'm Ricky Mandel.
And welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. How are you doing, Ricky? You well?
Oh, I'm very good. You know, I'm actually still quite pumped from the tours we've just finished and all of the events. It's next week. I think we're going on tour again, middle of this month now, September. So,
yeah.
You know, just getting ready for that. And yeah.
And that's with the Property Investors Crash Course.
Yeah.
It's in London. Oh, goodness. I'll see if I can remember. Southampton.
Yeah, I think we've got Southampton, London.
Wolverhampton.
Yeah, Essex.
And somewhere else. Somewhere up north.
Yeah.
Manchester, is it Manchester?
I think it is, yeah. I think it is Manchester.
There. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's going to be quite an exciting tour. What have you been up to? Anything recently in property then? Since you last came on the show, anything exciting going on in your?
We're at the minute we've got a house which is on the coast, which is with solicitors at the minute. But it's got a shared freehold. So it's taken a little bit longer than usual because, you know, we're negotiating about the shared freehold and stuff like that. And we've sold a couple of deals this week. Nice. So we're working with investors. We're completing on them. So that, along with the events, it's just been really busy. You know, it's really, really good. What about yourself?
I've got a property I'm buying at the moment in Lichfield. So it's sold subject to contract at the moment. So I'm just trying to it always takes forever, doesn't it? One of the things I don't understand about buying property is I think it literally could be like a 1-day process.
Yeah.
Why does it have to take 3 months?
Oh man, I don't know. It's just, you know what it is right now as well. Solicitors and stuff, especially I'd say the last year and a half. Maybe not last year and a half, maybe last year. You know, everyone's just buying houses and solicitors are just so busy. Things are going crazy. So what I'm finding is a lot of solicitors, you know, unless you're willing to pay a premium, you know, it's kind of like, well, you know, join the queue almost, you know. Yeah.
Well, the thing is obviously, you know, of course, like I say a day, of course, the checks have got to get done, etc.
Yeah.
You know, all the normal stuff. But once that's been done, which is normally pretty quickly, what exactly is there that makes it take, like my one at the moment, for example? So I've given them my solicitor details, I've given them my mortgage broker details, my mortgage has been sorted. I haven't heard anything for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What? I mean, I'm not, to be honest, in that much of a rush. I don't really care. But if I did care, what's the hold up now? Why? You know, the mortgage is there, the checks have been done. Why is nothing happening? And then it's just a breakdown in communication. I think if they just got everyone in a room, so they're like, right, okay, so what solicitors do we need? Right, this. Right, let's meet up. Could be virtually, could be over Zoom, COVID times. Let's meet up virtually on a Zoom meeting and get this cracked. I think they could get the whole house done in about 3 or 4 hours and get right. You're right. You need to go and do this. Right, you go and do that. Or we sort this, come back as soon as you've done that. Right, are we done? Yeah, perfect, let's go. The way it goes back and forth and back, what are they even backing and forthing about? I don't even know. It's just ridiculous. I don't understand why buying a house should take so long.
Yeah, well, yeah, look, the good thing is, you know, it takes a while to buy houses. It does. However, the good thing is, you know, when we talk about no money down deals and stuff like that, you can actually get control of a house really, really quickly.
You can. The other good thing is that I suppose it does give you time. If you're an entrepreneur and you're, for example, deal selling, it gives you time to get your seller in place, and everything does take time, but it is ridiculous. But anyway, enough of my moaning about the slowness of property solicitors and the property market. talking about getting started in property with no money, I suppose the first thing is that I'd like to say is there's two clear sources of income, I suppose, with property. So the one, we talk about, it's like one's active income and one's passive income. And a lot of people that say no money down property deals can't be done, etc., etc. Then normally talking about if you're buying property the traditional way, so you're just buying a house. Of course, you need money to buy a house. You can't just go into a estate agency and say, that house there, yeah, I'd like it for free, please. You need to be able to have money to do that. However, there are lots of creative strategies, particularly with active income style deals, where you can start making money from property straight away. So the first would be rent to rent, and deal selling are the two that spring to mind for me. So if you're trying to get started, and even then, by the way, you do normally need a little bit of money. You've got a lot of rent to rent. Typically, how much money do you think you need for a rent to rent?
For a rent to rent, you'll need around £2,000 to £3,000. That's deposit, that's rent up front. If you need a bit of furnishings, the ones that I've taken on have always been between 2,000 and 3,000. Yeah.
I have done some for less, where I've managed to negotiate. No, you could do it for free if you managed to agree a no deposit, if it was already dressed and furnished to the correct standard, etc. Technically, you could do it for free. But yeah, so you will normally need a little bit of money. And for deal sourcing can be pretty much no money. Obviously,
deal sourcing, you could do it just with petrol money.
Yeah,
and food. If you're co-sourcing, if you're doing it yourself, then you do need insurance money. But if you're just starting out, you could literally go view houses and pass them on to a deal sourcer and get a cut of the fee.
Yeah. So if you want to get started in property straight away, you can make fast pound, you can make active income. And I say that it's very nice active income as well. Your deal sourcing, you can be looking at £2,000 to £5,000 per deal that you source. For most people, one deal a month, and that's their income replaced. Not many people are £5,000 a month, so you can make very good money from deal selling. And rent to rent as well is really good for a passive income. If you've got a management company in place, if you can set it up correctly, you can take control of property without owning it. And like you say, $2,000 or $3,000 down. And typically, how much would you make on one of your rent to rents, for example?
£800. Well, that's a 1-bedroom apartment in a city centre, service accommodation. Actually, right now with staycation and stuff, is actually more. But on an average month, £800 to £1,000. But now the occupancy rates for service accommodation are a lot higher. I know people that are making, $5,000 to £10,000 a month. So, but myself, 1-bedroom apartment, so between 800 and 1,000. That's with it being like fully systemized as well. If you don't fully systemize it, you can make more, but it just wouldn't be as passive.
Yeah. So how much work do you put in, on a day-to-day basis? Do you put into working on that rent to rent, for example, or is it not?
No, nothing. The only work I really do is just the admin work once a month. A few hours once a month, just get the books together, and that's it. The actual properties and stuff, I don't ever go and view them. I have all the emails automated, check-ins, everything is automated and systemized. Yeah.
So if you were starting with zero money at all, you could do some deal selling, especially if you co-deal source, didn't have to go on compliance, you find a co-deal source, a bit of networking, sold a few deals for your deal selling, use that money that you made from that to put into a couple of rent to rents. And suddenly you're earning, a couple of grand a month, maybe more if you get a good deal, passive income straight away. So you very easily can make a full-time salary. It's a great business, rent to rent, deal sourcing is great business, but it kind of is a business. It's kind of a job, isn't it? I mean, obviously you're working for yourself, but it's almost like being self-employed, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. I think also, you need to understand that it is a business. You have a company, you run this as a business. I think many people try and do it without the education, without the knowledge, and it's just more of a hobby, and that's when you see people, it doesn't go as well for them. So it is a business. You have to treat it as a business, do things properly to be able to make money from it and have it systemized. If you just kind of have a go with it, then you could end up with all sorts of problems.
Yeah. No, I agree with that for sure. So if you were getting started with nothing, that would certainly be a good place to start. I mean, obviously, we work with people who are like footballers and stuff like that. I would recommend that they didn't do rent-to-rent and deal selling, because they're making, because all that kind of is really is your fast pound, isn't it? It's your income. So if you're in a really good job, you're a footballer or a pop star, or even just you're a doctor or something, you might be better off for your fast pound doing your job rather than doing rent-to-rent or deal selling. I do think rent-to-rent and deal selling are very good jobs. If you're interested in getting out of your job or into property, it's certainly a brilliant place to go. But then once you've got some fast pound coming in and you're earning this passive income from your rent-to-rents, etc., I suppose then the key is to invest that wisely, right?
Yeah, I mean, just going back to your previous point, I do think with deal sourcing, obviously everyone's starting in different positions. So I do think, though, with deal sourcing, I think everyone should know how to deal source if you're looking at houses. Because even if you're looking at houses for yourself to invest in, you may come across opportunities. You may have agents pass you deals that you can then sell on to investors because you don't want to take it on yourself.
Yeah.
So I think everyone should know how to deal source. I think everyone should know how to do that. With regards to, investing, I think once you're ultimately deal sourcing and rent to rent, it's to get you fast plan, like you said, and also help you become financially free so you can start to get some passive income. And then investing wise, I would then look at investing in HMOs, getting higher returns for what you're putting in, rather than just looking at, just kind of investing into anything because that's what you've been told to do. You want to be generating higher return on investment, higher rents by looking at, if it was me, HMOs, also potentially buy to lets, buy low rent high, like Samuel says. So that's what I'd be looking at to invest in next.
Service accommodation, HMOs. So it's going to give you a much higher, because obviously with if you've got, let's say, a typical property, you might make £300-400 doing it as a buy to let. Whereas you might make $1,500 doing it as a HMO or service accommodation.
Yeah, and you can be really creative. And when you understand the strategies and understand exits and how it all works, you could also, invest in a house which you use as service accommodation, but you've also got the exit of having it as a HMO or a buy to let, or a single let if you needed to. So if you understand the strategies, you can be really creative with it.
Yeah. And if you're really smart when you're investing, you use the buy, refurbish, finance strategy so that you're investing the cash and you're pulling it back out again. So you've got your rents and your deal sourcing giving you income. You're using that to invest in a house. You're refurbing it, pulling your money back out. You're renting out a service accommodation it starts sounding a bit crazy now. But when you start combining all the strategies, it really is, an amazing formula for creating wealth and good cash flow very quickly.
Yeah, and I know people that have been through the advanced training and have done this without any of their own money, the buy, refurb, refinance strategy. They've raised finance, they've done joint ventures, and then they've split the profits at the end, and they've kind of put in the sweat equity, and then they find an investor to put in the financial equity, and then they split the profit. So it is possible to do it with very little money. You just have to know how to raise finance and do joint ventures and understand the strategies as well.
Yeah, and we're seeing people do this like all the time. Now, I met a guy literally today who came over from Israel with £50. I met him. He's being interviewed on Samuel's Winners on a Wednesday, so he'll be on the show soon, I imagine. And literally with nothing, and now he turned up in this Range Rover, and he's got four houses he was telling me about that he just bought recently. I'm sure obviously he's got more, and he's done it all through property using these exact same strategies, just following the steps, starting off with your high cash flowing stuff, then starting to invest it in passive things, just investing it wisely, making sure that you get a good rental. So it's not like it's theoretically possible, it's very, very doable. Would you agree?
Yeah. It's been with these strategies, with anything really. If it's been done before, it can be done again. With property and the strategies that we're talking about, it's been done over and over and over again, and it's your job just to learn it and copy what other people are doing that works.
Yeah. I totally agree. Obviously, if people are interested in these strategies, good place to start with. You were just mentioning it earlier on, the Property Investors Crash Course, which is touring the UK at the end of this month. So, I'll be there, Ricky will be there, Sam will be there, Alistair will be there. So it'll be great to see you guys there. But yeah, really good stuff. Thanks, Ricky. Right, it's now time for this. Okay, so in the news this week, we are looking at the UK property market. This is a recent article in The Guardian here that says that UK house prices jumped by almost £5,000 in August. That actually surprises me a little bit. Does it you?
Well, why does it surprise you?
With stamp duty coming, I know that it's still kind of in effect a bit. It's being phased out, but it's nowhere near as good as it was. I was kind of expecting a little bit of a slump. It might be next month or so that it comes. I was expecting a little bit of a slump. So the fact that it's actually gone up by 5,000, well, 4,620 and a 2.1% rise, second highest rise in 15 years for a monthly rise. It just surprised me a little bit because it's gone up. I was expecting it to stop or even go down a tiny bit.
Yeah, I think I was expecting a bit of a slump as well, but it hasn't really surprised me because think about it, we're coming into September now, and I think a lot of people have saved money, by going on holiday in the UK and not going abroad. People are saving money, with that. Also, there's people have this whole last 2 years or year and a half while this pandemic's been going on. So many people have been just sitting on money and sitting on it and saving and saving. And now they're just like, well, I know a lot of people that are just buying houses because they've got the money to do it, because they've not been, going away on holidays and stuff like that. And I think now there'll be a little kind of, there'll be a little jump with people buying houses. But I do certainly think there will be a dip after this, very soon after this. I think there will be a dip. But it doesn't surprise me.
Here's a question for you. Obviously, the interest rates are record low as well at the moment, which probably helps. Here's a question for you, and see if you know the answer to this. Since the beginning of the pandemic, so 18 months ago, when this crisis started, at the time, everyone was saying that the property prices were going to drop. And I remember Samuel doing a video saying that he thought property prices were actually going to go up. And he was being ridiculed and mocked and laughed at. But obviously, that he was right. That has actually been the case. Here's my question to you, though. In the last 18 months, and play along at home, in the last 18 months, by what percentage do you think property prices have gone up over that 18 months?
And
just so you know, unless you get it spot on correct, whatever you say, I'm going to go like this. So you're aware. Okay? Ricky, unless you get it spot on correct. Ricky, what percentage do you think property prices have gone up in the last 18 months?
All right, I'm going to say 12.5%.
But you're actually very, very close. It's 13%.
Oh,
so you were very close.
Well, I was closer than what you were closer than when we used to do the quiz on all of your answers.
You're a lot closer than I was close with those things. Yeah, you've gone up 13% since the pandemic. So I mean, even if they tank now, they probably will still be high unless they absolutely fall off the face of the cliff. All those people that are worried about buying property. I mean, the thing is, right, property, it always goes up over time. We've seen it through history, and it might drop, it might dip, but I still think now is a good time to get involved in property, because I think now is always a good time. And because you don't know what the market's going to do, it'd be very easy 18 months ago, very easy to have gone, ooh, it might dip. I'm not going to buy. But the truth is, does it matter if it dips? I'm buying at the moment. If it dips, as long as I don't have to sell it, which I'm not planning on selling it, If it dips, I don't really care. Because I know it's going to go back up again at some point.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's that saying, isn't there? They say, don't wait to buy property and wait.
yeah.
You like that one, didn't you?
Well, I liked how you said it, as if it was like, yeah, I liked it. We should have ended it. We'll end in a minute when we wrap up the show. You can end the show on that, and we'll just pause and look like it was something really wise. We'll pretend it's a Ricky Mandel quote. So don't know the old saying. Say, you know what I think, and then we'll end the show. All right. So, I mean, that is about it now. I'm afraid we're going to wrap up. Unless, Ricky, you've got any pearls of wisdom to drop before we leave.
I just think, like you said, there's...
No, not great. I didn't say it.
Was that meant to be... Sorry, I was actually going to say something else.
The glory yourself.
I wasn't going to drop the quote then. I was going to say...
Go on.
I was actually going to say, now is a great time to get involved with property, so...
Yeah, but that's kind of the same thing as the don't wait to buy, but just a shit way of saying it, isn't it?
All right, would you just want me to go into the quote?
I just want you to go into listen, look, obviously we'll cut all this out. No one's going to hear any of this, right? So I just want you to go into the quote, boom, shaka, we'll look all pause and dramatic, and then what an ending. It's going to be like epic. It's going to be like something from a movie scene, okay? So, Ricky, have you got any pearls of wisdom to drop for us at the end of the show?
Don't wait to buy property. Buy property and wait.
Oh yeah, that was the ticket. Guys, we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.
See ya.
Your places, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, etc. See you guys.